and we're just going to let it fall. So we're going to leave one of these whole today, and we're going to pound out the other one. And the easiest way I find to pound one out is to stick it in the bag with some oil. Doesn't have to be much. Get all that air out of there. And the oil is just to coat the chicken breast, and it prevents it from tearing too much. And the other preventative measure that I have against tearing is that these are pretty close to room temperature. I took them out of the refrigerator about 20 minutes before I started shooting. We'll put that guy aside. We'll put that guy right there. Not right there, because I need that. You can pound with anything. I like this cast iron because it's nice and heavy, but you can do it with anything. I've done it with a wine bottle before, I think in the chicken Kiev video, or maybe I used a wine bottle somewhere on the show, and I got complimented on my ingenuity. What I like to do is start with the bottom side up. The bottom side is a little bit more rough. It has more to lay flat. If you start with the sort of curved side up, this is the only abnormality here. Also, it's probably worth saying that this doesn't bother me. It doesn't bother me that this gets a little bit dry if this is perfectly cooked. It's just something that I accept. Like, I accept that the bottom ½ inch of my French press is just not going to be drinkable. It's part of the filter. It's fine. Big heavy skillet, and we're just going to let it fall. We're going to be careful that we don't get this chunk too much. I'm going to aim to Alright, looking good. I'm going to switch to the other side. And that's really as thin as I want to go. This is maybe a ½ inch. And then this tip is still a little bit thin. And as long as our bag doesn't have any holes in it, we can squeeze a little marinade in there. And one of my absolute favorite marinades. It's very simple, very quick to go together, and it does work. I'm going to throw these in here because that looks good. It does work with many, many different types of meat and produces a little bit different results with a lot of them. Is equal parts lemon juice and Worcestershire sauce. I especially like this with pork. Get it in a container of some sort and refrigerate. Hour, maybe. It's really thin. This one is going to feed me tonight, so it's going in for a couple hours. Try to do it for at least an hour. All my sandwich fixins and bread. If you're gonna bake your own bread, I suggest getting one of those produce bags from the grocery store. They make really nice homemade bread bags. I split this in the middle. This was about this long. If you take from the middle and keep pushing your ends together, you're not going to go stale as fast. Going to cut a good thick slice of bread from each side. That piece might not be thick enough, but we're going to toast them. They're going to get a little bit more structure. I have one leaf left over from my salad. These 2 strips of bacon are getting cut in half, and I want some slices of tomato. I'm gonna make a pan sauce for my chicken, but I do like two sauces sometimes. So about this much sour cream, and I'm gonna use Twin Cities hot sauce, Crybaby Craig's, and it's just a pickled habanero hot sauce. From personal experience, I know I need just a little bit of salt. Onion. So here's what we're gonna do. A lot of people are intimidated by pan sauces and are also sort of intimidated by shallots. Usually a shallot is what you're gonna see in a professional kitchen being used for a pan sauce. Well, you know, if you're just trying out a recipe and maybe you don't necessarily want to buy a whole shallot, not quite sure to how to use the whole thing, that's fine. Try it with an onion. And you want this fine. You could get really sort of minuscule cuts and dice this finely, or we could take off very small slices. I'd say about a quarter onion. And we'll just get all those strips taken care of. Medium-high heats, a high heat oil, just a little bit because chicken doesn't have a lot of fat in it. And we're using a stainless steel this time because we want the chicken to stick to the pan. All that flavor that sticks to the pan, it's called fondant. That's what you make your pan sauce out of. Non-stick really doesn't work for this. While that's heating up, I'm going to take my pounded chicken breast with the Worcestershire and the lemon juice. We're going to pat that dry. Just when that oil is starting to shimmer, we're going to go presentation side down right in the oil. And I'm going to turn this guy on. Now the chicken will tell you when it wants to be flipped, especially when it's this thin. You see this white kind of peeking over here. You have a little bit of shrinkage showing some nice fond down here. It's been about 3 minutes, so I'm going to flip this and try to get a different section of my pan than I had before. And I'll check it at 2 minutes. I expect it'll take another 3. While that's going, I'm going to throw these onto toast. Chicken is up to temperature. I pulled it about 7 or 8 degrees early this time because it is so thin, and I had it on a little bit of a higher heat. And in with the onions. And just go until these are soft. They're getting to smell nice. At this point, you could add some garlic if you want to. I'm going to turn off my toast. What I'm going to do, because I would prefer to use lemon juice to bring out the lemon juice in that chicken breast, I'm going to use apple cider vinegar. And we're going to get all that good chicken fond up off the bottom of that pan. I did a better job of pounding chicken breast in my chicken Kiev video. So if you want a little better demonstration, please go watch that. But to encourage you to watch that, chicken Kiev butter, which is a compound butter made of garlic and parsley. So I'm just gonna stir this in and let this butter melt into my pan sauce. And then I'm gonna get something nice and creamy at the end of it. Look, you can add your own parsley in right at the end. You can add your own garlic in right when those onions are starting to smell really good. I already have this, and this is sort of a great way for me to use up that extra compound butter that I had. You do not have to do this. Let's build the sandwich. First, I'm going to go down with a little bit of my pickled habanero sour cream. And in that, I want my tomato layer. Bacon. I'm gonna take this chicken breast, and I don't even know if I need to cut it. I think that fits really well. And I am going in with as much of my pan sauce as I can get away with. If I had some cheese, I might melt it right over that. A little bit of crunch. Top layer, I'm just going to go with the dregs of this sour cream. And now look, I set out to make a club sandwich. And a club sandwich has a middle layer of bread. And this bread was a little too big for me to want a middle layer. But you know what? Right next door to the club is a library. So this is the library sandwich. Clubs are cut into 4. Let's just cut this right on the diagonal. Library sandwich, everyone, going in. I swear I didn't do this on purpose, but I think it's called a library sandwich because it makes your brain just go, shh. Just have another bite. The habanero with the sour cream perfectly contrasts that sort of fruity acidity from the pan sauce. This is freaking amazing. So the chicken, how is the chicken? The chicken it's fine. It's cooked the same on both ends. Personally, I would much rather have what I did last episode and have the full breast, bring it up slow, have it be nice and juicy, because honestly, this entire thing is about how the tail of that chicken breast was before. You guys get in the kitchen, make yourself something awesome. I post new videos every Saturday at 9 a.m. Central Time. If you're not subscribed to the channel already, please subscribe to the channel. It helps me out a lot. Don't forget to let your hunger be your inspiration.